welcome to the show, y'all. I'm your host, Gurhm, and today I'm talking about Doom. Yo, what's up, y'all? Thanks for joining me, and today I'm talking about Doom Eternal. It's a direct follow-up to Doom 2016, which not only was a franchise reboot and one of the most refreshing first-person shooters to have come out in a long time, but it was also just a masterpiece of a game. Now, here we are 4 years later, and Doom Eternal had a lot to live up to for me. Doom 2016 was like a culmination of decades of Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein. So the bar was set really high. And sadly, Doom Eternal did not meet my expectations. And I was thinking about it, and it's like when a band puts out their first record that's just absolutely perfect, you know? And the conditions must have been just right. They had the right people with the right skill at the right time, and they came together and just dropped this brilliant first album. Then album 2 comes out and it sucks. And all you can think is, no, what the hell happened? You know what I'm talking about. And whatever the reason is, you just know that you're never gonna get an album like that first one. And honestly, I think that that might be the case for this iteration of Doom games, y'all. Because damn it, if I wasn't wishing that I was playing Doom 2016 almost the entire time. Fortunately, Doom Eternal does have a few saving graces in my opinion. I just finished the game in under 22 hours on the hardest difficulty, Nightmare Mode, and I'm gonna cover everything with ya. So let's dive in, starting with the gameplay and rip and tear this beast apart. I'm gonna start with the good stuff, y'all, because despite my harsh criticisms that'll follow, Doom Eternal's gameplay isn't all bad. Is it anywhere close to as good as Doom 2016? Hell no. But I also don't think it's complete garbage either. So I want to touch on the good stuff up front before I enter the arena and completely demolish it. I think the first and most notable thing to highlight is how Doom Eternal follows right in step with Doom 2016 in terms of pacing. You're still quickly shredding across levels, brutally mowing down every enemy you encounter in really cool ways. So it does stay true to the overall speed with crisp movements and the brutality that I love. They also added in a new dash ability that allows you to dodge in any direction, which was fun to use as well. I do, however, have concerns about how it impacts the combat, which I'll cover in a sec, but it does add to the overall joy of zipping around and quickly getting to your next kill. You also still get a huge arsenal of weapons to use, almost all of the classics make a return, and there's a bunch of new ones that get added to the stockpile. Most notably is an armor attachment that sits on the Doomslayer's shoulder called the Equipment Launcher. This can either be a grenade launcher that spits out explosive or freezing grenades, or it can be a flamethrower. Personally, I didn't enjoy the flamethrower at all, but the grenade launchers do add some fun variety to the combat, which was cool. You also get a gun called the Ballista, which replaces the Gauss rifle from Doom 2016 and was definitely my favorite gun in the game. It can shoot a precision energy shot or get charged up to shoot a horizontal energy beam that will slice a screen full of demons right in half in front of you. It is fun as hell to use. The Super Shotgun also gets a cool upgrade called the Meat Hook, which allows you to shoot a chain link grappling hook at enemies, and when you land a hit, it will launch you towards them through the air. And lastly, you get what's called the Crucible, which is not the typical crucibles from Doom 2016. This crucible is a beastly energy sword that's a one-hit, one-kill shot and is super clutch when you need a big kill in a pinch. And ooh-wee, what can I say, y'all? The weapons are just freaking lit, and as it should be, Doom Eternal turns you into a hyper-mobile, weaponized Terminator, primed to slay a huge list of old and new enemies, which includes some killer boss fights that for the most part were really well done. So, combine all that with its buttery smooth performance, the incredible soundtrack, and some glory kill finishers for dessert, and yo, you will undoubtedly walk away a bloody, satiated slayer. And for real, y'all, if there's one thing I did enjoy in Doom Eternal more than anything, it was the moments when I felt completely boosted by charging headfirst into battle and destroying everything in my path with its raging soundtrack screaming in the background. That overall experience still defines the gameplay in Doom Eternal, which I was incredibly happy about, and honestly, it saved the game for me in a lot of ways. Cause sadly, y'all, that is where the good news lays to rest, and I'm gonna focus on the biggest issues I think hurt the gameplay the most, because there are several changes Doom Eternal introduced that really hurt both the combat and the game's overall vibe for me. My biggest complaint without a doubt is with the overall design of the combat. The best way I can describe it is that the game constantly forces you to slow down and even stop during fights to get ammo, health, and armor, but will significantly punish you for not continuously moving. Now, on paper, this probably looks like a really nice risk versus reward formula, but it doesn't feel that way when executed. For me, it felt like an unnecessary tug-of-war match that ruined the momentum Doom is known for, doesn't feel rewarding, and just wasn't fun. So let's break it down. Firstly, instead of having a bunch of ammo at your disposal to simply embrace racing around levels and relishing in the joy of slaying demons, every weapons magazine barely holds any ammo. And there's hardly any in each level to pick up. So to resupply, you're forced to pull over in combat and go into a kill animation using your chainsaw on a demon, which is the only way to get decent amounts of ammunition. And I can't emphasize this enough, y'all. You constantly run out of ammo over and over in fights, and stopping in battle so damn often is just annoying as hell, and it increases your overall chances of taking damage. This same method applies to getting health and armor as well. For armor, you have to first set enemies on fire with your flamethrower, and for health, you have to do a glory kill. All three slow momentum, 2 out of 3 put you in a kill animation, and they all put you in proximity of enemies, so you'll likely lose some, if not all, the armor or health you just picked up anyway. Like I said, yo, it's a shitty tug of war. The other issue with the combat is how the AI really struggles at times if you continuously use your dash ability in battle. This includes all areas on the levels, but in particularly in the arenas and if you ride the edge of the arena using it. Watch this clip of me doing it, and I'm gonna speed it up so you can see just how long I go without dying, without killing anything, or without picking up any health in the arena that's full of enemies. Seriously, y'all, this is on the hardest difficulty late in the game. I'm gonna slow down the video here and there just to show you what the AI starts doing. Not only is it broken, but they end up pseudo fighting each other but not killing each other. It's just weird and broken. And unfortunately, the game begs you to use this strategy when you get low on health. So you end up dashing around the map to try and get health or try and find one of the smaller enemies that you can get a glory kill on. It just sucks. And it makes me wish that they had removed the dash ability altogether. Nobody plays Doom to passively dash around forever, to only turn around and shoot occasionally and slowly pick off enemies. I want to face the deluge of demons head on and be rewarded for good aim, prediction, and dodging enemy fire. So in general, y'all, Doom Eternal's combat forces you into this contrived formula that kills momentum, is more frustrating than fun, with dashing and movement abilities that clearly break the AI at times. All right, I have one final issue to hit before we close out this category, and it has to do with how campy and hand-holdy the game is. Unlike Doom 2016, which felt like a mature reboot that was darker, more sinister, with a badass attitude, Doom Eternal is much brighter with colorful gems exploding everywhere, bright green walls showing you where to go, obnoxiously obvious platforming areas you can climb, and huge yellow glowing question marks in every level revealing where secrets are. I'm not sure what to say here other than it's cheesier, dumbed down, and ruins the vibe in my opinion. I mean, this is a Doom game. Get your glowy, colorful, confetti, explodey, rainbow gem bullshit out of here, man. How the hell am I supposed to take saving humanity from hell seriously when I constantly feel like I'm at a 10-year-old's Doom-themed birthday party? It's immersion breaking and really just a disappointment coming from Doom 2016. I wanted to love it so bad, yo, but it's like they had too many cooks in the kitchen and tried to satisfy everyone, which made it a way worse experience in my opinion. So with all that said, is Eternal's gameplay a major step backwards from Doom 2016? Absolutely. And it breaks my heart to say it. But despite its issues, it does fortunately carry over enough of Doom 2016's genius that there is some good fun to have here. I'm giving gameplay 3 out of 5 stars. Graphics are up, and what can I say? Like Doom 2016, Eternal is just a damn beautiful game. They did a design overhaul on all the weapons, which look badass. Earth, Hell, and all the other locations you visit are truly epic looking with some awesome scale. I don't want to spoil anything because there's some really cool new areas in the game that are gorgeous, but just know you're gonna get even more of the high quality looking levels in Eternal that were in Doom 2016. My only complaints here again are with the increase in brightness and clearly a more colorful Doom 2 influence, especially with some of the enemies. They still look great, but in between them and the environments, even though there's probably more blood and gore than there was in Doom 2016, it's just more of a cartoony and gamey look than a realistic and cinematic look. And at the end of the day, it was harder for me to take seriously, and I was just less impressed and less immersed because of it. However, it is undeniable, Doom Eternal is a beautiful game with gorgeous effects and backdrops. I'm giving graphics 4 out of 5 stars. Audio's up next, and yo, Mick Gordon has once again delivered an outstanding soundtrack. It is pure, heart-pounding metal that injects a sense of aggression and intensity into every fight. I cannot stop listening to it, y'all. It is badass. And it was extremely unfortunate to find out he will no longer be working with ID Software on future Doom games too. I have no words to express my concern there. I mean, what is a Doom game gonna be like without Mick Gordon? It's just not good. However, for now, we get a full new catalog of his brilliance to enjoy, and it does nothing but carry the game, especially when it's limping along because of its poor gameplay mechanics. Outside of that, despite some only passable voice acting that lacked in delivery and was even cheesy at times, along with all the new weapon sounds having this weird tinny sound that popped with every bullet you shot, the game's audio was really well done. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. Story is up, and yo, what a freaking hot, steamy pile of hellish dung, you guys. First off, the Doomslayer doesn't seem angry at all in the game, except for maybe a little bit in the beginning. It's just weird. In Doom 2016, you could just feel the rage emanating off him based on how he reacted to other characters and what he did as the story played out. In Eternal, however, he acts more like a disgruntled employee who's just annoyed to be there and can't wait to clock out for the day. Seriously, after every cutscene, I felt less and less inspired by him, which was a huge missed opportunity, especially since they actually put him in cutscenes this time around. Then there's the story, which is really bad, y'all. Firstly, you can find lore pages in each level that tell the Doomslayer's backstory and history of the world, which was great. I love that shit. And it was okay in Eternal. But they did such an incredibly poor job connecting it to any of the actual gameplay experience that it didn't make it more interesting. And if you don't read the lore pages, I am not sure how the hell you would even know what's going on and why. The story in Eternal is just a mess of poorly written ideas that don't come together well at all. Honestly, I wish that they would have hired Blizzard to come in and help them create some of their brilliant story cutscenes. That is what this game needed. Not this aloof gameplay experience with a bunch of Codex lore pages strung around its levels and an uninspiring Doomslayer in a bunch of cutscenes. So they set out to expand the world and explain some of its history, but it's a ripe mess in my opinion, and only further adds to the confusion of what's going on and why in Doom Eternal. I'm giving story 1 out of 5 stars. Last up, let's hit the settings and start with the key rebinds. I was able to rebind all my normal keys along with some to my mouse and to ESDF and numpad without issue. So everything was cool there. Video and graphics are next, which were excellent as well. Under video, you have field of view, gamma options, and motion blur and depth of field, which get the off switch for show. Under accessibility, there's a ton of colorblind options, and they even include some additional options here to tweak, like intensity, strength, contrast, and brightness, which I don't think I've ever seen in a game before, so that is some badass shit. Moving on to graphics options, those are excellent as well, and you get a ton of settings to tweak here. And from the research and testing I've done, the only thing that will require you to turn anything down significantly is really dependent on your GPU's VRAM. So whether you have 4, 6, or 8 gigs of VRAM on your card, that will depend on how far you can actually push the game. But since the game is so well optimized and looks so damn good, you likely won't have to mess with it too much. If you do, however, the options are there. Audio's up, and those were perfect. You get your master, music, sound effect, and voice styles. And there's even some mix options depending on what audio source you're using, and you get some subtitle settings below. Last up is the gameplay, where you'll find all the tutorial and tips options. There's also the option to turn on or off the empowered demon setting, which if set to on, will allow other players online to enter your single player campaign game and take control of a demon to fight against you. So if you don't want that, be sure to have this setting turned off. Oh, and I almost forgot, there's also a UI tab where you can customize your HUD to your utmost desire. And that's it, yo. Settings are getting a 5 out of 5 stars. It is a final score time, y'all. And in the end, even though Doom Eternal did get some things right, it also unfortunately didn't meet or exceed the experience that I had with Doom 2016 in any way. I'm giving Doom Eternal 3 out of 5 stars. I mean, does it look good? Yeah. Not as good as Doom 2016, but it is beautiful for sure. Does the soundtrack slay again? Abso-freaking-lutely. And at times, ripping and tearing your way through the game is just as joyful as it ever was. But you also get some really poor design changes, in my opinion, that make it more of an immature and hand-holdy experience that just feels uninspiring and forced. At the end of the day, they tweaked too many important things in the wrong direction for me that honestly, I had to force myself to finish playing it. And not in a good way either, like I had to force myself to finish it. So I hope ID Software turns back with the next Doom title and really leans in to the darker, angrier, and more mature aspects that made Doom 2016 such a brilliant game. That's it, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me today. You could have been anywhere on YouTube, but you kicked it here with me, and I appreciate you so much. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you, and I will see you on the next Gurhm's Garage. GG.